Hi everybody. So I'm guessing by now many of you have seen the viral video that where Pat King was on the Stu Peters show. And, it's all good news. I think anyway, but there are some out there, and especially in Canada, the ones that are supposed to be, we're all supposed to be on the same side. Well, that's not what I'm seeing. Now, I don't know why guys like Mark Friesen and the angry Albertan are trying to discredit Pat. It's not over yet. Okay, he might not have won the first battle, and that was just technicalities. So they're debunking him, if you will, before it's over, and I don't know why. What's the problem? I mean, the video has been seen by now. The video has been passed around all over the platforms like BitChute, and people are downloading, and it's got millions and probably millions of views by now. I know for a fact that I've seen where at least one platform it's got over 500,000 views, another one on BitChute with a 250,000 views. So why are people like Mark Friesen and the angry Albertan trying to weigh in on this? Why don't they just let it play out before they pass their opinions? And that upsets me. Like, whether I'm a fan of Pat King or not, let it play out. The documents are not out yet, so I mean, why Mark Friesen? I don't know. I don't get it. So anyway, I'm gonna piece together a few videos, and I'm going to give you my opinion on it, okay? So I'll be putting 3 videos together along with this one, and, well, it's up to you. You might disagree with me, you might not. I don't know. I don't care. All I'm saying is whether Pat is right or wrong, only time until the final verdict is brought forward. All we can do is sit back and wait. Meanwhile, hey, right on for Pat. He did a good thing. He started this out on his own with no help. Okay, so you got to commend the man for that. So anyway, guys, that's all I'm going to say in this. I want you to move on to the next videos, if you will. I've merged together a few clips that I want you to see, and the one at the very end is very important. Okay. So, having said all that, well, it's a beautiful day here in paradise. I'm looking out at a lake right now, and I couldn't film the other way because of the sun, so I had to do it from this way, into the filming and looking with a backdrop of the bush. But anyway, guys, I hope you watch these videos, and keep in mind, I'm not a podcaster or a professional doing it. It's basically my opinion. About why are people doing this, trying to do this to Pat? I don't get it. So anyway, I'm out. You guys have a great day. So by now, a lot of you have seen the viral video of Pat King on the Stu Peters show. Now, I find it, I don't know what to think of it when people like the angry Albertan are trying to debunk this, okay? And here's what he says. I wish Pat King had won his case. The reality is he lost. How does he know he's lost? There's another court case coming up, to my knowledge. Playing a loss at a win does not help anybody. Just because something comes out on TV doesn't make it real. It's way too early to pop the champagne and party like rock stars. Let's wait and see how Pat's appeal comes out. Most likely it will be another loss. Now, that's an opinion there, but he I don't know what he's up to. A lot of people follow this guy. I don't know what his real name is. But if he wins, okay, he says at the end, but if he wins, I'll be celebrating with the rest of you. But no, his first statement, that's the most important part of any statement, is what they say in the beginning. the reality is he lost. Now, I want you to read some of the comments on here, okay? There's 644 comments, so I'm just going to read, let you see a few of them, right? Oh, let me get into the comment there. Okay. That's right. And this Stephen Geis says the fact that he has this now on favor through the court system is a win. There was a lot of comments here, and there were some that agree with this guy, and there's a lot that that are debunking him, whatever. This girl says, this isn't a win or lose for a ticket. This is a huge win for freedom in Alberta. You dude are green with envy. Pathetic. And let's see if I can find another one here. There's some guy. Let's see. This is where it all started. Let's see how many views this has. Yeah, 570,000 views, so over 500,000 views. Interesting, eh? And this person here says, so much proof does one need if the accusers and the courts say they cannot prove the COVID virus exists? This one says, the important thing is that all eyes will be on this now, hopefully. That's right. Whether Pat loses or wins, you know what? And Pat already said in his case he went about it a little bit wrong, because you remember he said that his document or whatever was supposed to be signed by a judge, not a justice of the peace. So that was a mistake on Pat's part, but he did say that he was led in the wrong direction, okay? So, and this one here, Sharon, you're an idiot. Ruling that way do not, okay, what does it say? You're an idiot. Ruling that they do not have evidence of this so-called virus is a win. What? You never made money off it, so it's a loss? Moronic. Every little win we get is a win for our side. Whose side are you on? That's a good question. Whose side are you on? Ready to put your mask back on? Now, is there a power struggle here? Did Pat gain a little bit of popularity? I don't think he was trying to. He had no idea this was going to go viral like it did. He set out on this case all by himself. Okay? I think he had some help from Doug Force. That's what he said in his previous videos anyway. So, and here, you need to get your head straight. You're just jealous. So, you know what? These guys that come up with this, this goes on and on. You can check out the Alberta, Angry Alberta feed yourself. So, why are people doing it? And there's another one posting that same video. Okay? And then this lady or person says, Lady Robin, I call this a win. And it goes on. Now, I'm going to show you another one. Mark Friesen also spoke out against this, okay? Against Pat, you should say. So I'm going to take you over there, over to Mark's timeline in the next clip. So now I'm over on Mark Friesen's timeline, and he, of course, he weighed in on it too, if you will. Okay, further to my previous post yesterday, I know people are excited. I know so many of us are waiting impatiently for a win. I know when videos and narratives are presented that are perceived and sold as a win, a lot of folks jump in to share and agree and to praise. It's human nature. But it's incredibly important for our movement to maintain credibility. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Mark Friesen is a PPC candidate, okay? And it's important to note that his leader, Maxime Bernier, is a known globalist, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? So I don't know what Mark is up to here. I really don't know, but why speak out against somebody like Pat, even if he hasn't had a win yet? Who knows what's going to happen? So let me go on. But it's incredibly important for our movement to maintain credibility and to follow the facts to the truth. Yes, I take heat for standing up for what I believe is truth. I have to. If I don't, or we don't, what are we doing? We are no better than our enemy. Here's a solid. Oh, yeah. Hang on a second. Here's a very solid, informed, and reasonable perspective on what Pat King claimed in the Stu Peters show. Please watch it with a critical mind. Take your emotions out of it. Now, I watched that video, okay? And I'm going to attach it. I'm going to debunk him. There's a lot of stuff he's saying that is absolute fucking bullshit, okay? The first thing he does, the first thing he makes in his video, the first statement, he says, backed by popular demand. Really. I can tell you right now, and we'll get into that later, this guy is not that popular. He's got, I don't know, he's got some followers on YouTube, but anyway, let's go down and let's read some of the comments, okay? See here. Okay, now she is talking about the guy in this video, okay? His name is Viva, something like that. He's from Montreal. Apparently he's a lawyer. First of all, Dave is barely repilled. Less than a year ago, he was so naive, it was painful. It's been super awesome to see him come around, but he's still far behind. He listens to too much Barnes, whoever that is. Secondly, it's disappointing that he didn't bother to watch it properly. And that's right, that guy didn't watch that video properly. And you're going to see that, okay? He makes a lot of claims. Like, he's basically calling Pat a liar. Like, and you will see that. I'm going to add that to, this is going to be my next clip. I'm going to download that video, okay? Either way you look at it, the people are bringing the hammer down. That's right. You know, I think this is a win-win for not just for Pat, but for everybody else. Who knows what this can lead into, right? So let's check a few more comments here. And that's right. And this guy says, honestly, I think this guy's perspective took Pat King's video a little out of context. And he did too. You'll see that because I'm going to attach that video into this little movie there, or video that I'm making here. Now, this person says, I'm disappointed, Mark Friesen. Did you interview Pat? Did you investigate his claim? Did you investigate his claim? Come on, man. And I think we need to stand together and not divide. So this is what Mark is doing, okay? I think my opinion of Mark, though, is he's turning into an actual politician, okay? I mean, he's tried to debunk a lot of people like Chris Sky the other day and stuff like that. So what's going on with Mark? He's not the person that he was a couple of years ago. He said, I heard him make a statement the other day, the only way to make changes is in the political system. Is he right? Is he wrong? I don't know. So, and this person there, so what about your solid? What about your solid? Informed and reasonable perspective? I'm losing faith, dude. So these guys are taking, now, this person shared that video too. Now this person there says, this man here fights more than just his spine. He takes the Alberta Health Minister to court and wins. Okay? And this person says, why are you shitting over Pat King? Mark reasons she tagged him, right? And this girl says, really? Really sad, Mark. I'm down disappointing hearing this shit. I don't know who that person is talking about, right? So, let's see what else goes on here. But anyway, so my point, the reason I did this is point out, I mean, I don't think Mark and the angry Albertan should be, if they disagree with what Pat said, you know what, they should just leave it alone. If Pat's going to sink, let him sink himself. There's no need to be getting on like this. So, having said that, I've got one more video, okay? Actually two that I'm going to be merging together here. The first one is that dude that Mark is talking about there. So I'll see if I can do that right away here. Hang on a second now. No. So anyway, I'm gonna have to shut this down and then I'll start over. Okay? I mean, I don't get why Mark and the angry Albertan are speaking out against Pat. I just don't get it. You know, like, if Pat is wrong, he's wrong. If he sinks because of it, well then that's his deal. Not mine or anybody else's. There's no need for people to be getting on like this. Let it see how it all plays out. So anyway, I won't do the other video. What I'm going to do is attach the link in the description because there's another video I want to get to. And I think this one's important, very informative, okay? So that'll be the next clip. So as I said, I will attach the link to the video that Mark is talking about, and then you can click on it and see for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to end this clip here and then get on to another video, okay? And I think you will actually like this video. It's very informative.
Here's something that may pique your interest. The UK government is currently in the market for a temporary body storage service. You heard that correctly. The UK government currently seeks to procure a framework agreement for temporary body storage in the event of an excess death situation, and the contract will last for a total of 4 years. The overarching aim of this tender is to provide a single framework supplier that will be able to provide temporary body storage facilities to house deceased in the event of an excess death situation. That's right, as the vaccination rates increase across the globe, so does the expected need for body bags. £6 million worth to be exact. This comes just in time for the newest variant out of Peru, called Lambda. Now, of course, the MD influencers are claiming that variants are spreading rapidly throughout populations, because of unvaccinated individuals. And when asked for their thoughts on why these variants hardly existed for a full year after COVID graced us with its presence and only became problematic after the rollout of the vaccine, the response is that our surveillance sucked back then and that it takes time for variants to come about, but once they do, they become rampant. Do you think these people actually believe their own bullshit? So let's find out if this claim has any basis in science. Here we have an article titled, "Why More Contagious Variants Are Emerging Now More Than a Year into the COVID-19 Pandemic." New variants of SARS-CoV-2 have now evaded New Zealand's border protections twice to spread into the community. In the most recent outbreak, which placed Auckland into an alert level 3 lockdown, there are 3 active community cases of more infectious B117 lineage. While we have seen the virus mutate over the entire course of the pandemic, it was not until mid-December 2020 that variants with measurably different behavior emerged. Wow, I wonder what took place in December of 2020 for that to happen. What was it again? Yes, that's it. The global rollout of the vaccines. Now, speaking of the correlation between the vaccine rollout and the emergence of new variants, another argument brought to you by the social media pharma shills is that each of these variants were actually identified well before the rollout of the vaccine. Now, this would be a great argument if it wasn't absolute bullshit, because of course, before the vaccine was rolled out to the masses, each of these vaccine companies conducted vaccine trials. This is where they injected thousands upon thousands of people with the vaccine and then set them off to mingle with the rest of us. So let's take a look at where these trials took place. Clinical trials for COVID-19 vaccines were carried out before they were approved by governments and rolled out to the public. Pfizer's trial enrolled over 45,000 participants across the globe, and Oxford recruited over 23,000 people in UK, Brazil, and South Africa. Now, this is very interesting because you'll actually find that each of the countries mentioned where variants first emerged just happened to be the same countries where the trials took place. The UK, South Africa, Brazil, and the US. But what's most disturbing of all is the backstory of Delta, the COVID-19 variant that is currently threatening to lock down the whole planet once again. Delta was first identified in India in December of 2020, and once again, by sheer coincidence, India also began phase 3 clinical trials of their very own COVID vaccine, Covaxin, just a few weeks prior on November 16, 2020. What's even more disturbing is that the Covaxin vaccine was released to the public before these phase 3 clinical trials were complete, meaning it was injected into the arms of millions of people with zero published data on its safety and efficacy. Not a peep out of our public health experts about that, though. Now, of course, the rest of us were all aware that variants would be popping up at the exact time of the rollout of the vaccines, because doctors and scientists who don't make it a habit to talk directly out of their ass told us this is exactly what would happen. One such scientist was Dr. Bosch, who was labeled a doomsday nutjob for predicting exactly what we're currently experiencing. Dr. Bosch asserted that vaccines are like antibiotics in that when they are both overused and imperfect, they allow germs to mutate in dangerous ways. With antibiotic use, the bacteria that have developed a mutation or acquired a gene that gives them protection from the antibiotic will escape death and soon become the dominant strain. Bosch claims that the same thing will happen with the coronavirus. Because, he says, the vaccines are imperfect, they will allow the virus to keep being transmitted from person to person and thus mutate inside of us until a dangerous new variant emerges. Now, even according to mainstream doctors like demon spawn Dr. Paul Offit, who's a pediatrician and the co-inventor of the rotavirus vaccine, this is not nonsense. And the vaccine creators themselves admit this when they say the vaccine doesn't necessarily stop infection or transmission, but that it lessens symptoms enough to prevent severe disease. This is why we still see infection and transmission among the vaccinated. There's even a name for this phenomenon. It's called leaky vaccines. According to a 2019 study, researchers say that they have proven the theory that more virulent viruses can evolve from so-called leaky vaccines. In vaccines that are less than perfect or leaky, the vaccinated individuals may get sick but have less severe symptoms. This allows the virus to survive and spread throughout a population. Our research demonstrates that the use of leaky vaccines can promote the evolution of nastier hot viral strains that put unvaccinated individuals at greater risk. So when a doctor suggests that the unvaccinated are variant pumping factories, I can't help but ask, whose fault would that be? Now here we are with all kinds of variants running rampant throughout populations and a pile of body bags ready to deal with their hosts. Strange how the conspiracy theorists just always happen to be right. Even stranger how the real scientists will claim things like menstrual irregularities and myocarditis are perfectly normal immune responses to vaccination, but not a single one of them prepared us for these side effects before you injected yourself with their concoctions. So really, there's only two options for what happened here. Either one, those side effects are not normal and expected at all, or two, they are expected and they lied to you in order to convince you to get the vaccine anyway.
That's not stupidity, that's fraud.
Tell me the difference between stupid and illegal and I'll have my wife's brother arrested.